How do? Happy friggin' Tuesday. I'm Ryan F. This is the Locker Room Tuesday edition. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Anybody who watches live, anybody that watches the replay, thank you. Let's just delve into some of the newsworthy notes from the day. Brett Favre reveals he has Parkinson's. Revealed it at the congressional hearing. He was speaking before the House Ways and Means Committee. He spoke about Prevacus, a company making a concussion drug that received $2 million of temporary assistance for needy family funds. Favre was the top investor in Prevacus, and text messages show he began asking state officials for help securing funds for the company in November 2018. Sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believe was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought would help others. He said, I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This is also a cause dear to my heart. That noise you hear in the background, ladies and gentlemen, is an alarm that's going off on my phone. Give me just one moment here. And enough of that. So Favre, if you remember, he was being investigated for all this. Prevacus' founder, Jacob Van Landingham, pleaded guilty to wire fraud in July, admitting that he used Mississippi's welfare money to pay off gambling and other debts. Favre spoke about his involvement in a sprawling Mississippi welfare case. At least $77 million in TANF funds embarked for poor families were diverted to the rich and powerful, according to a 2019 Mississippi State audit. Favre has gone on to say he believes he could have suffered more than 1,000 concussions during his 20-season NFL career. So hopefully he gets the help that he needs in reference to the Parkinson's. Hopefully he wasn't a major contributor in diverting those funds. We'll keep an eye on that. Detroit Lions Dan Campbell said he was doxxed by his daughter's classmate. I don't even know what the hell doxxed is. I guess I'm going to find out. His home address was publicly leaked. Detroit Lions coach selling his home after multiple instances of harassment and unwanted visitors on the property. Multiple people showed up at the Campbell's residence in Bloomfield Township, Michigan on the night of January 28th, hours after the Lions lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. According to the report, a Lions security official contacted Bloomfield Township Police that night to report that Campbell's address had been posted online. An investigation conducted by police and NFL security revealed that a male high school classmate of Campbell's daughter posted the family's home address on Snapchat with the accompanying text of "dumb fuck trying to go for it." Campbell and his wife, Holly, were still in the Bay Area at the time, according to the report. but became nervous for the safety of their daughter after vehicles and people showed up outside the residence. The Campbell's daughter was at the Bloomfield Township residence that night with her boyfriend, went outside in his vehicle and flashed his headlights at anyone approaching, causing these people to turn off and leave. Again, social media age. Nothing surprises me, ladies and gentlemen. It's unfortunate that took place. Hope it doesn't happen again. Of course, hockey preseason kicking in. Talked about this a little bit last on Sunday about the Cowboys' woes. Jerry Jones says it's very fair to blame me for the Cowboys' 1-2 start. No shit. According to a poll from WFAA TV in Dallas, the answer is pretty clear among more than 70% of the voters. Owner and general manager Jerry Jones, that he's to blame. Jerry said that's very fair on Tuesday on the Shannon RJ show on 105.3 The Fan. It's well known that no decision is ultimately made here for what I either have acquiesced or approved it. That's very fair. How could you think otherwise? Whether it be who's out there coaching, whether it be who's out there playing, whether it be the stadium you're walking into, whatever it is, that's the way it is. He goes on to say, now let me just say this. Do I have a huge amount of input in making those decisions? When they've done their homework, they're very influential input to me. And we've got a lot of people in the Dallas Cowboys that have done their input. He goes on a diatribe, like a big-time diatribe. I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is by Todd Archer, ESPN staff writer. I'm just going to say this for the last time in reference to Jerry Jones. He has fisted Cowboy Nation for the last 28 years. Period. He says he cares about the fans. He wants, dude, if you care about the fans, sell the friggin' team. Again, back in 2014, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't root for my Cowboys anymore because until Jerry Jones is gone from the equation. Don't wish anything bad on the man, but he is. I don't understand why he has other people with different titles because everything comes down to him anyway. Owner, GM, coaching decisions, player personnel. He doesn't give a shit. He has people in those particular titles. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't pick them to make the playoffs this year. I'm still sticking by it. They got worse in the offseason. He had a chance to go after Derrick Henry. He didn't do it. He paid Dak and CD. When the players that he should have been paying were the offensive and defensive lines. But the defense sucks. The offense is horrendous. He doesn't get it. You're not relevant anymore. You're relevant from the standpoint of you're an ass in all this. You're relevant for some of the stuff that you say that comes out of your mouth. You're like the Donald Trump of the Dallas Cowboys or of the NFL. It's a joke. You could have gone after Derrick Henry. You don't think Derrick Henry could have made a difference in this offense? Knowing damn well CD's your only receiver to try and take the pressure. I mean, Baltimore's receivers don't scare you. Why do you think they brought in Derrick Henry? You saw what happened Sunday. That was a statement game for Derrick. Look what you passed up on. Until he's gone from the equation, I can't do it. That's why I switched over to the Chiefs. Even before Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith was still there. Andy Reid was having decent success. The Kansas City Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, are the original Dallas Texans. And that's it. I'm not saying shit about that anymore because it makes my stomach turn. Mike Tomlin has come out and said there is no need to name Justin Fields as the Steelers quarterback one. He said there's no need. I explained to you the variables of the week. It has not changed. He's going to walk in this building with that mindset tomorrow. And so really there's no need to. Sometimes in this business, man, there's a myriad of complex decisions that need to be made. He said, I learned to make them when it's appropriate, and it's not necessary as we sit here right now. When Russ gets to an appropriate point of health and we have a decision to make, I'll make it and I'll announce it and I'll be really transparent about it. But until then, I don't care. I don't care how many ways you ask me. I've got no intentions of making the decision that is necessary at this juncture. And again, he goes on a diatribe. He knows. He knows. He doesn't want to cause sort of any internal bullshit that may go on if he makes that decision. When Russ gets healthy, if the Steelers win again this week, they're 4-0, and Russ gets healthy, Russ is not going to be the starting quarterback. Period. I feel for the guy. He got hurt. Justin Fields is doing some good things. There's no reason to upset that by going to Russell Wilson. He knows. He's just not going to announce it. He'll wait till Russ gets healthy for Russ to come back, see how he looks. He knows. Believe me. And if anybody thinks he doesn't know, you're fooling yourself. Laszlo Sangrati offers to will stolen Olympic gold medal to thief. He has been so distraught by the theft of his Olympic gold medal that he has offered to leave it to the thief in his will if the medal is returned. Congradi, 65, won the Olympic gold medal in the men's team saber competition at the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul. His home was broken into and the medal was stolen September 10th as Congradi was sleeping. He says, for 2 weeks, I can't come down and be happy because everything reminds me of my stolen Olympic gold medal. I would give everything to the culprit, but I want him to return the worthless object that means nothing to him. Drop it in the mailbox, and if you want, I won't leave it to my museum in my will. I'll bequeath it to you. Hopefully the thief is caught. That blows. Someone breaks into your house while you're sleeping and you don't notice anything. It's a sound sleeper right there. Thank God nothing else took place. Thank God he's alive. You had your gold medal stolen. Hopefully it's returned or it's found. That's just a shame. Gardner Minshew, the Minstash, will remain the starting quarterback, says Coach Pierce of the Raiders. He was asked if a quarterback switch was to be made at some point, and he said nothing was ever pondered. If you remember back to the Raider game the other day, Aiden O'Connell came in. He led the Steelers to 2 late touchdowns. But at this point, the game was over. I'm sure the Raiders had pulled most of their starters. I think the score was 36-7 at one point. I get it. You're looking for a spark. But I mean, they were just trying to keep everything in front of them defensively. So O'Connell was 9 of 12 for 82 yards and finishing with an 8-yard touchdown pass to Trey Tucker. Minshew threw for 214 yards, completed 18 of 28 passes with a touchdowns and an interception against Carolina. Look, the Raiders overall, it was pathetic. Offensively, defensively, you can't point the finger at Minshew. When he put Aiden O'Connell in there, I'm sure the Raiders didn't have most of their starters in. Minshew ranks 5th in the NFL among passers with at least 70% attempts, or 70 attempts. 747 yards, is 6th in the league, yards-wise. He has 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You could do a lot worse than Gardner Minshew, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen some of the quarterback play? Overall, collectively as a whole, the Raiders sucked. So you just can't point the finger at Minshew. You have to look at the performance in totality, and it was pungent, as I say. And I'm always pulling for the men's stash. Saints' Eric McCoy says he needs groin surgery. He's going to miss some time. That sucks. It was a physical football game the other day with the Eagles. Hopefully he can get back to full form because the Saints really need him. The defense has been stout for most of the year. The NFL news. Panthers receiver Adam Thielen to go on IR with hamstring injury. He caught that touchdown pass, and you knew something was wrong because he came down funny. Doesn't say how long he's going to be out, but he's going to miss at least the next 4 games, which gives him a month to rehab. I hope he gets back on the field because the Panthers need him, but he will be out for at least the next month for the Panthers, and I'm sure Mr. Andy Dalton will continue to be the starter. Things continue to get worse for the Bengals. Offensive tackle Trent Brown, he's out for the year, ruptured a knee tendon. The Bengals are in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. I picked Cincinnati and Detroit in the Super Bowl. It's not looking good. It just says he's out for the year. So if we go to the NFL, you watched the games yesterday. The Jaguars just they just sucked. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They were bad. There was no effort. They didn't put up an effort. There was no fight. Trevor looks confused. The team looks lost. And I said this last night, Doug Peterson may be the first coach to go. They have taken 1,000 steps backward ever since they went on that losing streak last year. And by the way, collectively, for all those people that say the quarterback should get paid, the top 10 paid quarterbacks in the NFL this year, collectively, are 13 and 19. So you're paying for mediocrity and less. Fans unite. Stop going to the games, man. I know you're going to have those jabronis out there that are always going to go to a football game. They're always going to go support their team, but stop. Stop going. Save your money. Watch the team locally at home. You don't have to spend all that money to go watch performances like that. Just stay home. You can get yourself a 6-pack for cheaper than one beer at the stadium. You can make your own food. The Jaguars lose to the Bills. The Jaguars now 0-3. The Bills are 3-0. I said the Bills wouldn't make the playoffs, but I might be wrong here. Because the receiving unit collectively is playing as a unit, minus Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, who have departed. They're actually playing better. Trevor Lawrence was 21 of 38, 178 yards, of touchdowns, and a pick. The leading rusher was Travis Etienne, 11 carries, 68 yards. Your leading receiver was Christian Kirk, 8 catches for 79 yards. Leading tacklers were Montaric Brown and Chad Muma. On the flip side, Josh Allen, who is most likely your early leader for MVP, he was 23 of 30 for 263 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 6 times for 44 yards. James Cook, 11 carries, 39 yards, and a touch. Khalil Shakir, who is turning out to be a young superstar in the making, 6 catches, 72 yards, and a touch. Your leading tackler was Dorian Williams, 11 total tackles. They really didn't have to run the football, but you don't want Josh Allen as your leading rusher. You're going to get the dude killed. Passing-wise, I get it. But, James Cook needs to touch the ball. He touched the ball 15 times. He also 4 receptions for 48 yards. But they're going to have to do something about the running game. Right now, they don't have to do anything. But it was just an absolute bludgeoning. Team stats, the Jags turned it over twice, 1 fumble, 1 interception. Time of possession was equal. It's just the Jags right now are not a good football team. They're just not. And I don't know what the Jags are going to do in general, but it's not good. And again, this all dates back to last year when they had the collapse and missed the playoffs. So this isn't anything new. And I said in the preseason, I didn't have the Jags making the playoffs either. Other than maybe Christian Kirk, who on the receiving end scares you? There's nobody. There's nobody. Gabe Davis, 2 catches, 18 yards. The dude either catches 2 catches for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns or this. The Commanders, another team in trouble, ladies and gentlemen, the Bengals. Jaden Daniels impressed. One thing we're learning about Cincinnati's defense is they're not really good. They're not that good. The Bengals, on the whole, I said it after the opening game of the season, there's just something off. There's no motivation. There's no sense of urgency. It's like they're just out there to play football, and that's it. Commanders win 38-33. Commanders 2-1. The Bengals are now 0-3. For Washington, Jaden Daniels, 21 of 23, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also rushed 12 times for 39 yards and a touchdown. Austin Eckler had a touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr. had a touchdown. Tarek McLaurin, your leading receiver, 4 catches, 100 yards and a touch. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, 29 of 38, 324, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Chase Brown was your leading rusher, 7 carries for 62 yards. Jamar Chase did his thing, 6 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins, on his return, had 3 catches for 39 yards. But this game, I mean, the Bengals may have gave him it in the end. No turnovers in the game, so it was a clean game. But again, something off with the Bengals. I don't know if they're not buying into what Zach Taylor's selling anymore, but it's not good. And it's not going to get any easier. End zone the other day. We'll just go down the lineup for this week in the NFL. Cowboys are at the Giants this Thursday at 8:15. I'm taking the Giants until the Cowboys can prove that they can bounce back. The Giants seem to be getting incrementally a little better. The Cowboys just stink. Sunday games, Saints at Falcons. Saints seem to be beat up. Saints are 2-1. Falcons are 1-2. I've got a hunch that the Falcons win this football game because the Saints are beat up. Rams 1-2 at Chicago. Bears 1-2. Look, man, the Rams are beat up, but they found a way to beat the 49ers. I don't think they're going to win this game. I don't trust Caleb Williams, but something tells me Chicago pulls this out for the defense. So I'm going to go Bears. Vikings at the Pack. Vikings 3-0, Packers 2-1. I know Sam Darnold's a little banged up for the Vikings. There's a slight chance Jordan Love plays. And I get it, it's in Green Bay. But Minnesota's defense right now is stellar. Sam Darnold is playing within himself. I'm going to go Minnesota. Steelers at the Colts. This is also a 1 o'clock game. Pittsburgh only favored by 1.5. Somebody knows something. But right now, early on, Anthony Richardson looks horrible. I'll take the Steelers. The 1-2 Broncos are at the Jets, who are 2-1. Jets are favored by 7. Broncos have now found something. Bo Nix is your QB. They had a fantastic game plan going into Tampa Bay. I think they found an identity. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Denver beats the Jets. 2-1 Eagles at the 2-1 Bucks. Philly favored by 2.5. I think the Eagles are going to win this football game, but I think it's going to be close. The 0-3 Bengals are at the 1-2 Panthers. I don't know. The line, Cincinnati's favored by 4.5. One team looked fantastic. The other looked horrible this weekend. For shits and giggles, I'll take the Bengals. 0-3 Jags at the 2-1 Texans. Houston's favored by 7. Again, Jags in disarray. Wouldn't surprise me if the Jags win. That's just the NFL for you, but I'm going to go with the Texans. Now, the 2-1 Commanders are at the 1-2 Cardinals. Arizona's favored by 3.5. Somebody knows something. I'll go with the Cardinals. 1-2 Patriots at the 1-2 49ers. The 49ers can't go 1-3, can they? I'll take the 49ers. That's a 4:05 game. The Commanders-Cardinals game is a 4:05 game. 1-2 Browns at the 1-2 Raiders. Vegas favored by a point, so essentially a pick'em game. I'll go with the Raiders. The 3-0 Kansas City Chiefs are at the 2-1 Chargers. Kansas City's favored by 7.5. I know the Chargers can sometimes give the Chiefs a fit. Justin Herbert, how's his health? Bosa, how's his health? I just think Kansas City wins. I'll go with KC. The 3-0 Buffalo Bills at the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's favored by 2.5. So somebody knows something. I'm going to go with Baltimore to get to even at 2-2 on the year. And then on Monday night, again, the dumbass things that the NFL does with the 2 Monday night games. The 0-3 Dolphins or 0-3 Titans are at the 1-2 Dolphins. Tennessee's favored by a point. I don't know. I'll go with the Dolphins. And then the 8:15 game, the 3-0 Seahawks at the 2-1 Lions. Detroit's favored by 4. Somebody knows something. I will take the Detroit Lions to win. I normally do this on the line of scrimmage, which will be this week at some point. Some news and notes. Utah State is bolting the Pac-12, or is bolting the Mountain West to join the Pac-12. This would be the 5th team to bolt from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, including Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Colorado State, who announced earlier that they are also leaving the Mountain West to join the Pac-12. And I said last year, and I said earlier this year, even over the summertime, that the Mountain West was either going to be in trouble, that they were going to disband. Some of the teams were going to bolt for the Pac-12. And I know the Mountain West will try and stay intact. They'll have to go over some lesser programs regionally. Air Force UNLV, undecided. The Pac-12 is going to stay intact. UNLV, I said they're exploring options. The Alabama A&M and Florida Atlantic, Alabama A&M and FAMU, Florida A&M University, postponed due to Helene. Michael Hawkins Jr. just started quarterback for Oklahoma when they play Auburn. If anybody watched the game from the other day when Oklahoma played Tennessee, Jackson Arnold really struggled. He was 7-16 for 54 yards. He lost 2 fumbles and an interception. I'm looking at some of the other news and notes of the newsworthy. Texas starting quarterback Quinn Ewers, he's still uncertain. Memphis Tulane, South Florida, and Texas San Antonio commit to AEC amid Pac-12 interest. So they're going to stay put. And Reggie Bush is suing USC, Pac-12, and the NCAA for NIL compensation. You sort of knew that was going to come. Remember earlier this year that the Heisman Trust reinstated Bush's award. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Major League Baseball, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, almost to the playoffs. And we go to the standings as I do all the time. In the National League East, the New York Yankees They are 92 and 64. They're atop. They haven't clinched the division yet, though. Baltimore Orioles sit in second. They're 86 and 70, 6 games back. Red Sox 79 and 78, 13 and a half back. Tampa Rays 78 78, 14 back. Blue Jays officially eliminated. They're 73 and 84, 19 and a half back. The National League Central, the Indians have clinched the division at 90 and 67. The Kansas City Royals sit second at 82 and 74, as do the Detroit Tigers 82 and 74. Minnesota Twins 81 and 75, 8.5 back. And the pathetic Chicago White Sox eliminated a long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, they are 36 and 120, 53 and a half back. American League West, Astros sit atop, 85 and 72. Seattle Mariners 81 and 76. The Rangers, Athletics, and the Angels have all been eliminated. National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies, who have clinched the division, are 93 and 64. New York Mets 87 and 69, 5.5 back. Braves 85 and 71, 7.5 back. The Nationals and Marlins have been eliminated. In the National League Central, Milwaukee Brewers are 89 and 67, clinched the division. Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, and my Pirates all have been eliminated. To all those people who thought that my Pirates were going to make the playoffs this year, out west, National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers sit atop at 93 and 63. The Padres 90 and 66, 3 games back. Diamondbacks 6.5 back, 87 and 70. Giants and Rockies have been eliminated from the playoffs. So in the American League, Yankees, Guardians, Astros have all made it being division winners. Right now, the wild cards would be the Orioles, the Royals, and the Tigers. And out west, Phillies, Brewers, Dodgers, and your wild card teams would be the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Mets. I had the Rangers and the Braves in the World Series, and that's all I can say on that. And there's only like 5 games left. So that covers Major League Baseball. Again, the NHL preseason is kicked off. Some NHL news. The Winnipeg Jets have re-signed forward Perfetti to a 2-year, $6.5 million deal. Guy Gaudreau helps out Flyers at Tortorella's invite. The Avs signed forward O'Connor to a 6-year extension. Wild forward Boldy with a lower body injury. He may miss the season opener. Lehner hopeful of resolution with Golden Knights. The Utah hockey team, which I still think they should be called the Blizzard. They've signed Mr. Gunther to an 8-year, $57.1 million extension. And the Ottawa Senators have reached a deal to build a new downtown arena. Don't know why. They just, year in and year out, they struggle. For you soccer, football fanatics, for all those English Premier League who most people follow, I don't think there's any games today. And there's not. See if there's any games in the Premier League tomorrow. I'm not seeing any. Let's go to Friday. Of course, this, technology, ladies and gentlemen. Don't see any on Friday. So let's go to Saturday. which is always 8 games on Saturday. As soon as it updates, talk amongst yourselves. Call your mother, call your father. The English Premier League this week on Saturday. Newcastle United host Man City. Arsenal hosts Leicester. Brentford hosts West Ham. Chelsea hosts Brighton. Everton hosts Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest hosts Fulham. And Wolverhampton hosts Liverpool. And on Sunday, let's go to Sunday. As my Amazon Verizon pad. On Sunday, Ipswich hosts Aston Villa. And Man City hosts Tottenham. Scores from last week. Of course, I am an Arsenal fan. Man City and Arsenal tied 2-2 with some late heroics by Man City at the witching hour. Disappointing for Arsenal fans. Again, Man City is just a beast. They've won the last 5 Premier League titles. They will probably win a 5th, unless Arsenal can stop them. Man City is going to have to slip up somewhere. Chelsea blanked West Ham 3-0. Aston Villa blanked Wolverhampton 3-1. Fulham blanked Newcastle 3-1. Fulham beat Newcastle 3-1. Leicester and Everton tied 1 apiece. Liverpool 3, AFC Bournemouth 0. Southampton 1, Ipswich 1. Tottenham beat Brentford 3-1, and Crystal and Man City was a 0-0 draw. And of course, on Sunday, Man City and Arsenal drew at 2 apiece, and Brighton and Nottingham also drew at 2-2 apiece. So that covers that. I'm pressed for time. I was going to go down the Bundesliga and La Liga and whatnot, but can't do it. WNBA playoffs have kicked in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say this about the whole Caitlin Clark thing again, with being poked in the face. All this stuff is intentional, and the WNBA is going to have to do something. And again, I don't care if it's Caitlin Clark. I wouldn't care if it was Angel Reese. Anybody, I don't care the color of the skin. When it's blatant, you need to do something because it's ridiculous at this point. They're sucking it up as a basketball player or any kind of player, just playing through it. And then there's just asinineness. And it's actually getting out of control now. I would be saying the same thing if the same kind of shit was happening to Angel Reese. Don't want to be about race. It's not going to float. But the playoffs started, I believe, last Thursday. Or no, Thursday, I think, was actually the and I'm looking at it here. It's trying to update. So it looks like Sunday was the beginning of the playoffs. The New York Liberty beat the Atlanta Dream to take a 1-0 lead. They won 83-69. The Sun beat the Fever 93-69 to take a 1-0 series lead. The Lynx beat the Mercury 102-95 to take a 1-0 lead. And the Aces beat the Storm 78-67 to take a 1-0 lead. Games on tonight. The Dream play the Liberty. In Game 2, Liberty favored by 12.5. The Aces take on the Storm. Las Vegas is favored at 7.5. Tomorrow, the Sun take on the Fever. Sun favored by 6.5. The Lynx and the Mercury play the late game. Minnesota favored by 8.5. So that covers the WNBA. For our racing fanatics, let's go to NASCAR. Anybody watched the race the other night? Larson won at Bristol. Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex have been ousted from the playoffs. Kyle Larson punches his ticket to the next round. And I'm trying to find the breakdown. Larson led 462 of 500 laps. That's how dominant he was. That's the most since Cale Yarborough led 495 laps in 1977. I'm trying to look at the results for the race. It's not showing me. Let's see if this works. And I'll give you the top 10. Kyle Larson finished first. Chase Elliott second. Bubba Wallace third. Denny Hamlin fourth. Christopher Bell fifth. Ryan Blaney sixth. Ryan Preece seventh. Chase Briscoe eighth. Alex Bowman ninth. Ross Chastain came in 10th. We go to the standings. If it shows me. And it's not showing me. Now let's look at this again. Go to the standings. And it's not really showing me the playoff stuff. So I apologize. Yes, it is not showing me the overall playoff standings for some reason, and I am sorry about that. Let me see if I can pull it up somewhere else. Give me just a second. I don't want to shortchange anybody. Let's go to the NASCAR's official site. See if it'll show me here, which it should. All right, so right now, your top 8 are Kyle Larson first, Christopher Bell second, Tyler Reddick is third, William Byron's fourth, Ryan Blaney's fifth, Denny Hamlin sixth, Chase Elliott seventh, Joey Logano eighth. The drivers on the bubble right now, Austin Cindric is ninth, Daniel Suarez is 10th, Alex Bowman 11th, Chase Briscoe is 12th. Austin Cindric is -4 to the cut line. Suarez is -6. Alex Bowman and Chase Briscoe are both -7. So that takes care of that. I think that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thanks for everybody that tunes in. I think tomorrow will be the line of scrimmage. I appreciate everybody that tunes in, whether it's live or you check out the replay. You can use all the support that I need. Until tomorrow, I will see everybody on the flip side. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.